I'm not one to care what people think of me, so I don't have a problem like opening up to people because, you know, if you're gonna judge me, then judge away. So many people today, they're so worried about what everyone else thinks of them. Who cares? As long as you can look in the mirror and be completely satisfied with the reflection you see in yourself, then who gives a shit what anyone thinks? It doesn't matter. I like adrenaline, but I'm still a kid at heart. There's a lot of freedom in writing. I don't do anything halfway, like I just don't know how. You can't go out there with a fear of getting hit or crashing. Otherwise, you're not gonna enjoy it. What's the point of getting on the bike in the first place? I look back and I think about how far I've come.
What's up, man? I set you up good.
Some people would view me as like having this perfect life. I mean, it is good, don't get me wrong. I do it unconsciously, but I've tried to basically annoy people with positivity. During my first marriage, I don't think I was quite that way. My life was basically ripped away from me. June 13th, 2006, my grandfather passed away. And you know, it wasn't necessarily a sudden thing. He lived a good life. He was 80 years old. He'd had a lot of health issues over the years, but it was just his time to go. You know, Grandpa was the rock of our family on my mom's side. He worked so hard his whole life so that all of us could have it easier. So, I mean, I'm not over it today, but I was far from over it then. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, my ex-wife says, you know, we got problems. And the next thing I know, she was gone a month later and moved out. So I'm pretty destroyed at that point in time. You know, there were times where I wouldn't say that I had suicidal thoughts, but I distinctly remember driving down the highway, bright sunny day, not a cloud in the sky, you know, and I distinctly remember, you know, I don't really care if someone just comes along and takes me off this road right now and I die. I don't care. And then I met Lindsay. The first time I saw her, I fell in love with her. It was instant. I mean, I saw her walking across the street, my mind was blown. We're very different people, but at the same time we have so many commonalities that just gel perfectly. I tend to argue with emotion. She uses logic and rationale, and it drives me crazy because this, and this happened, and I'm upset about it, and she will look at the other side of it and argue for the other side, and it is so frustrating. I'm like, just once, can you just agree with me, please? You know, I got through that, and it was like the greatest blessing of my life, really, looking back. I met my wife, got closer with my family, and now I have a son. Suck it up, princess. My best friend in the world is the director for Emporia Main Street. And he kept bugging me, you know, a couple years in a row. He's like, man, you gotta come down to this race. And he's talking all about the Dirty Kanza and how cool it was. And I'm like, okay, you know, I'll come down sometime. So I go down one time and I ride the casual 20 with him, and I was hooked on the gravel instantly. I go into my own world. We're all just people out there trying to make it work. Last year during the race, I got a text from my dad, and I pull it out of my pocket and rolling down the road, and I look at it, and I actually pulled over and replied to him because he said, you know, you don't have anything to prove to anyone. And I said, yes, I do, Dad. I'm doing this for me. When you're an adult, every day and every week, every month, every year is about battling and trying to find time for your family. There is nothing like walking in the door, see him smile, and he'll say, hi, Dada, and it's the greatest feeling in the world. If it's worth having,
it's not going to come easy to you. You're going to have to make sacrifices. You're going to have to struggle. You're going to have to endure pain. And you're going to have to suck it up and never, ever, ever give up.
It's scary to think about. Honestly, I've had that thought before. I wonder where I'd be if I hadn't come out of that. I guarantee you this, it'd be the exact opposite of where I'm sitting right now. Exact opposite.
You go, I will be behind you. And dark clouds never seem to find you. When the day black and white, when the skies are blue.